Happy Tuesday. We are Salted Words Podcast, as you can see. Hope you're all doing well. We have an exciting guest today, you guys. We are going to talk about, when I get the title, I'm going to read the title. Biblical Nutrition in Modern Life. So good, right? I'm very interested to see what Brad has to say. Our guest is Bradley Walter. He's a doctor of chiropractic. I think that's how you say it. He's a chiropractor. And his specialty is, one of his specialties is biblical nutrition. So we're going to get to it. Have you seen him yet? There he is.
I see him.
Should be here. Last time we had a little bit of a delay, so hopefully this will go smoothly today. No, it's not going to go smoothly.
Well, I feel like there's always kind of a delay with getting on here. So Bradley, you are invited.
I'm always so silent while we're
Hey.
waiting. Oh, there you are. Hi. How are
Hello.
you? It is nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Do you go by Brad or Bradley, Doctor? What would you
You can
like?
call me Bradley.
Okay.
Bradley works.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you, Bradley.
I
Dr.
was having I
Bradley.
was having problems with my laptop, so I just came on my phone. So
Oh,
I think that we have been told that I'm not sure you can go live on your laptop.
okay, so that makes sense. This is my first time doing Instagram Live.
oh,
So
it is?
it
Well, we're happy to
is.
have you.
We're happy to be your first podcast alive.
Yes.
Our last week, I think our guest, she tried to go. She thought she would be more comfortable if she talked on her computer, and it wouldn't work. So
Yeah.
it must not work.
Usually I'm well, I've just recently been doing Facebook Lives
Oh,
and
cool.
recording my podcast on Facebook Live and then uploading it to the platform that I have that posts the podcast. But this is awesome. It's always good to learn something new.
It is.
It is. Our family, I have a big family, and this is my daughter. We are always crazy interested in this topic, nutrition, the
Yes.
Bible. We haven't talked to anybody that have really put the two together in the ways that I think you're going to explain and talk
Oh,
to us about.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
So,
excited. I'm excited. I've been on this current just personal health journey for a year. Well,
nice.
since January, actually. So not even a year yet. We're just going into the 10th month. Isn't that wild? This year
Yeah.
has gone by so fast. But no, I'm excited to talk about it because the Lord has certainly shared some amazing, fascinating revelations that I think will be new. Um, I believe new for most of the people that are listening because yeah, it's fascinating. So
Well, I like to let everybody know that's watching our podcast. I do our podcast question style just to keep us on track. We always go down little extensions and little journeys in the conversation, but if it sounds like I'm asking questions, I am, just to keep us on track. And there are things I want to know, so I don't like to forget anything.
well, let's get into it. I'm excited.
Yes. Okay. So,
Well, do you want to give just kind of like a short kind
Sure.
of who you
Yeah,
are?
give a little background.
Yeah.
So I am a chiropractor. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina with my beautiful wife, Becky, and I have one son. He's 31. He's also in town here, which is exciting to have him close by.
yes.
I've been practicing here since 2012. I graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic in 2008 and did some postdoctoral training upon graduation in wellness. And currently, I tell you, I've walked with a lot of people through basically the balanced diet approach and whatnot. And my current main lifestyle, if you will, for food for people in walking has been carnivore. If you've ever heard of carnivore,
Mhm.
it's been everywhere. Um, but it's truly fascinating to see this way of eating and how it's just radically transformed lives in such a short amount of time with the people that I've been walking with professionally. And even in my own life, I've been doing this since January, and I've done some other things too. Just this year for me has been all about purifying and cleansing the temple.
Love
So
it.
yes, and so yeah, that's who I am in the short run. Outside of my professional career, number one, I get to show up and walk with people and lay hands on people every day, so I have the best job in the world. Outside of that, I do enjoy golfing and spending time with friends, and yeah, it's love music, all the good things. But most importantly is my bride. She's my best friend, my everything. So yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
We love
Absolutely perfect.
it.
God first, then wife.
that's right. That's right. She's the best helper a man could have.
That's
Amen.
that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will get started. We usually like to go for about an hour. And since we have so many things to talk about, I'm already surprised that you said carnivore and connected to the. I love it. Love
To
it.
the word, come on,
Yes,
it's going to be
I love it.
fascinating. I'm telling you, it's so good.
Okay, so number one, the foundation, the Bible and food. What does the Bible teach us about food and caring for our bodies that you have discovered?
Well, that I have discovered. Well, number one, I think what should be known for everyone is that we shouldn't be toiling or worrying about food, right? And recognizing that the Lord provides for us. But I will say, number one, the body is a holy temple. 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20, right? Um, um, I mean, we have to go back. There is a big revelation that's going to come forth here for a lot
Okay.
of people. So we're just going to run through this from the beginning. Number one, there's the Daniel fast,
Okay.
and in Daniel, he's called to fast under the rule of Nebuchadnezzar, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Nebuchadnezzar and the culture that Nebuchadnezzar was leading was really idolizing pride and strength of man, and so they were feasting on animals, right? They were feasting on the meat and the fat for physical strength. Um, and Daniel was called to do the opposite of that, right? To
Mm-hmm.
feed on vegetables and fruits and
Yeah.
these matters. And within that, just doing it for 10 days, there was a huge shift in Daniel that was known and seen. Today, we live closer to the end times. There's no way of us knowing when, but each day that we live, we're a day closer.
Mm-hmm.
And the times that we're in now, the culture is idolizing and worshiping the opposite, right?
Right.
The land and the whole global movement and all of that. Um, and in walks carnivore, which is the opposite, the cultural shift to just meat. And it's so amazing because the people that I get to walk with and see, there's that, you mean I can just eat meat? I don't know if I can do it. And the veil is so thin for people to see as they begin and walk through at how quickly things begin to change and things open up for them, and they begin to see when their mind opens up because they see their body responding, and those cravings that are often present in the presence of vegetables and fruits um, aren't really there anymore, and it happens quickly. But so there's that. That's the first one. Okay, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
So carnivore is a fast for today that can really provide the cleansing and purification for the temple that hosts the very presence of the Lord who's seated on the throne of our hearts. And think of that in how we seek to honor the Lord in recognizing that we are a temple. Praise the Lord. Um, and now we're going to take a journey to Nehemiah, Nehemiah's wall.
Mhm.
And this is what is truly fascinating. So Nehemiah's wall, the fortification of the wall, families come together to rebuild the wall, right? And as the families are coming together, they're rebuilding the wall outside of their homes. That's the position of this, right? Their family dwelling places. The first gate that was built back up was the Sheep's Gate. Okay, the Sheep's Gate. There's no mention of any metal in its rebuilding and fortification. So there's no metal in in its reconstruction and fortification. Just as in Kings, as we saw the temple, Solomon's temple built, there's no metal or violent striking in the temple and the formation of the stones. There's no violent striking of a hammer, chisel, or axe. Everything was done on the outside, right? So the Sheep's Gate just so happens to be the gate that Jesus entered every time he came to Jerusalem, except for one time, which was the triumphant return. Okay. So under the law, families would bring their choicest of sacrifices, mainly ruminant meat, lamb, um, cattle, right? The bull, through the Sheep's Gate. They entered through the Sheep's Gate. They brought their sacrifices through the Sheep's Gate to bring to the temple to be sacrificed on the altar for their iniquities. Okay. That also is the gate that the Lamb entered. Jesus Christ himself entered when he came back to Jerusalem every time except the triumphant return. So now we no longer live under the law. Jesus fulfilled the full price, not just for our salvation, but for our iniquities, for our infirmities, right? Every stripe pays a price for us to walk in true health. Health is the will of God. He does heal, but health is the will of God for us to be in true health. That's spiritual and physical. Um, I lost my train of thought there, but so far that's fascinating. Yeah.
Yep.
And now our mouth is the sheep's gate to the temple.
Mm.
So that very ruminant meat that under the law families would bring to sacrifice to our Lord for our iniquities, we can now bring through the sheep's gate of our mouth, and it provides healing, not just healing, but fortification, restoration. Think of it as polishing the stones, the very living stones that are every cell of our body. And I'm going to dive into the science of this too, but this is my heart just burns for this so much, just from the revelations that he shared with me through this process. But when it comes to metabolic inflammation, okay, so we're talking insulin resistance, okay. Insulin resistance is the gateway to all chronic disease. It begins with insulin resistance, which is silent in the beginning, even before you get the label that a an allopathic physician would give you of pre-diabetes. You can be insulin resistant for decades.
Will you tell me that again so I can take a note? Insulin resistance is the what to all
Is
things?
It's the gateway to all chronic disease. So chronic disease is diabetes, heart
Mhm.
disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, stroke. Um, I would even go as far as to say gut gut issues as well.
So
Autoimmune.
you said that you can be insulin resistant without having any like
but without being diabetic.
without being diabetic, but you can have it for
10 years.
10 years without even
Yeah,
knowing.
you can have you can be insulin resistant for a long time before you would be would have an issue with sugar regulation, for example.
Mhm.
Okay?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And with no symptoms?
correct. So
Interesting.
yeah, well, no symptoms per se, like, oh, I feel bad, or what it would feel like if you had chronic levels of blood glucose. If you get things, or even think of low levels of insulin and what that does to somebody who's a sugar burner, who's dependent on carbohydrates for their energy, versus being a fat burner, somebody
Mhm.
who's relying on ketones, right? If I'm fat adapted and I'm burning ketones, my insulin levels really become insignificant. I don't have to worry about my insulin levels because I have plenty of ketones available. I have plenty of reserves on hand to utilize. But yes, you can have these without having like physical symptoms, especially when it comes to insulin resistance. Ben Binkman is probably the forerunner in our nation for insulin resistance.
Ben
Um,
Bateman.
Ben Binkman, Binkman, and that's a lot of the knowledge that I'm sharing today, that I'm speaking, comes from learning from him.
So before we get to the next question, can you tell, because I've had the same question myself. So when people say carnivore diet,
Yes,
some things that I look up is like just strictly meat, but some you can have vegetables. And is that not true?
that's not true. So carnivore means animal, right?
Okay.
So within the spectrum of foods that are animal based, dairy would be included in that, right?
Okay.
And then any meat, eggs would be included in that. And when you're cooking, like if you're using oils and whatnot, you'd use butter. You can use ghee. You can use tallow or like lard.
No vegetables at all.
No vegetables at all. Nope. Yeah. Yes. Correct. Right.
See, I don't
I eat keto a lot. I eat keto
Uh-huh.
at least 2 days every week, but I have been wondering. So we have lots of questions for you. So
Ah,
let me
great.
ask you this. 3 weeks ago, I upped my protein. I
Hmm.
was eating more meat. I was making sure that my protein levels were exaggeratedly high, like 135 grams. That was way too much for me. My body didn't know what to do with it. I
Sure.
think my body was turning that extra protein into glucose because, or however you say it properly, I was
Yeah.
swollen. I did it for 3 weeks and I was swollen for 3 weeks.
Yeah. So you need more fat. So that's where that's the blessing in the carnivore, is it's high fat, moderate protein, very, very low carbohydrate. Any carbohydrates that you get from a carnivore diet are primarily going to come from dairy products. But you should be anywhere from 20 grams or less
Do you
if
know
you're
the
doing
macro
carnivore.
setup for the carnivore diet? I can look it up later if you don't know it right offhand.
I couldn't quote you the exact macro.
Okay,
I think
I'll look
it's
it up.
like one. You want 1 gram of fat per gram of protein, or you could even have up to 1.5 to 2 grams of fat per protein, but that could be challenging for some because that's a lot
Okay.
of
that would be
fat.
very hard.
So it's a
Yeah,
So
1 to 1 for
I
fat to
will
protein.
say every time that I try to focus on fat intake, protein intake, you might as well throw out calories, right? Because it is so
absolutely.
hard to get those all aligned.
Calories don't matter
Okay.
unless you're a sugar burner. Actually, it doesn't even matter if you're a sugar burner, right? Because I can consume 20 Snickers bars and get plenty of calories. Calories is not a good metric at all, um, for any part of living, whether you're trying to lose weight or anything. I mean, really, if most diets out there that are calorie focused are going to be starvation diets, right? It's going to be restrict, restrict, restrict.
Hmm.
And that's why people yo-yo back and forth, because yeah, you hit my target weight And weight's not even the thing that we should be focused on either. Weight is merely a product of discipline. That's it, right? So I can hold off and keep doing this way of eating, whatever it is, right? If it's you know, carnivore, if it's keto, or if it's paleo, or if it's Weight Watchers or Nutrisystem, and yeah, I hit my target weight. Well, that just means you hit your target weight. Your weight is really not a great indicator for your health, right? Um,
Well, as a
so,
woman, that's
well,
so more
right,
important.
exactly. Yeah, we start putting the cultural standards, the cultural norms and stuff into the picture, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do
Um,
understand what you're saying as well, for sure.
yeah.
So, so I have been, my last physical, I like to think that I live a more holistic lifestyle. I would be
Hmm.
more in line to go to a chiropractor, go to a
Yes.
holistic functional medicine doctor as opposed to typical Western medicine type
Yes.
situation.
Good.
But I do like to get a physical because I like to keep myself, in
Yeah.
that target range. And so my last physical, I was 6 points over on my sugar, my glucose levels, fasting glucose levels.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm trying, other than that, if I can get that number down this year, I will be what is considered metabolically healthy.
Sure.
So what do you think about that? That's that standard of measurement to be metabolically healthy. Is that line up with the way that you believe?
Um, Not really.
Okay.
So, and here's why. Like getting blood work and all that you get at your exam when they're measuring all the biomarkers and stuff, that
Mhm.
is something that I would recommend. I would recommend doing that with more of a functional practitioner
Okay.
because an allopathic doctor is trained in the management of disease processes, right? And this is not at all meant to speak any ill will towards individuals who are in the medical profession.
Hmm.
My concern is more about principalities and systems and governments.
Yes.
Um, but it is the overall system that is controlling the health of this nation, right? Like health
Yes.
insurance, we call it health insurance, but it's not really health insurance. It's sick insurance. It's
Yes.
only going to start covering things when we have something that they can help with. And so that's what all the biomarkers are geared towards. And the biomarkers are also a collection of a sample from the population. So I would ask you this, um, our population, is it healthy?
No.
So you're
It's
probably
not,
really
right?
healthy.
But you guys are healthy, right? Yeah, that's good. Well, you're also probably not eating the way most Americans are, right? And you're doing the things, you're exercising, you're controlling the toxins. You have a good mindset that comes from our faith. I have 5 pillars. I call them the 5 pillars of health, and that's nutrition, motion, healthy relationships, renewing your mind, and rest. Those are the 5 pillars of health. And the more that you can be operating as close to you can, I mean, it's impossible to be perfect. There's only one who was. Um, but pursue those things with small disciplines day by day with excellence. That's the assurance of our health, right?
I'm missing one. Nutrition, motion, healthy relationships, renewing our mind,
Rest.
rest. Okay.
Yes. And rest isn't just obviously rest is sleeping, but it's also operating, right? We can operate in this world in rest, not in
Yeah.
stress.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so yeah, carnivore is a version of ketogenic lifestyle. It's just removing the plants. And the reason why plants are a problem today is because man has taken plants into man's storehouse, which is the plants are the genetic makeup of plants was designed and created by God. And man has taken them into his storehouse and changed them for man's gain, for man's profit, right? And that's profit in currency, that's profit in whatever, right? Our soil is depleted. Um, 70 to 80%, and this is probably a low figure, 70 to 80% of our nation and potentially even of the world is deficient in iodine. And iodine is, you have an issue with iodine, you're going to be seeing a lot of glandular um, disease processes like cancer. Think breast cancer, uterine cancer, prostate cancer in men, pancreatic cancer, um, thyroid cancer. And look at just taking that a sample of those that I just mentioned and look at how they've increased over the last decade. Like crazy, right? And we've had other factors that contribute to that too. We've had this plague that was unleashed on our world. You know, everybody went through it with the COVID and all this stuff, and then we had the injections and the whole issue with that and how that's caused so much division between people is really sad to see today. But it is responsible for for a lot of the health issues that we're seeing in our culture today, like
Yeah.
the turbo cancers and the gut health issues and the autoimmune conditions popping up, right? Um, Regardless of what you think, you know, anything, there is an issue at hand, and I'm not one that wants to put politics into this. That's why this is a faith driven um, message that needs
Mhm.
to be delivered.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that by focusing on your gut, but through either a carnivore or a ketogenic lifestyle, it's those two are the keys to truly getting our health back. That's the food component. Now there's other components obviously that matter too, right? But those other five pillars. Um, and a lot of that is going to go into like really detoxifying the body, um, building back up iodine levels to an adequate supply for the body, because iodine isn't just necessary for the thyroid gland, it's also necessary for every single cell of your body, right? Our nervous system, all that. So,
I have not heard that. I I hear little whispers every now and then about iodine, but I've never really heard anybody talk about it. And so now I'm intrigued. How
yes,
would we know if we were deficient in iodine, and how would we then go about getting iodine? Because I don't eat iodized salt anymore. We eat Celtic
good.
salt, Himalayan
Iodized
salt,
salt is useless. Yeah.
and it's
You
used.
could
Okay,
do it's a tricky way that you have to measure iodine levels, and it mainly is a urine test.
okay,
And the only real way to test it is to take iodine and then test your urine to see how much you're removing. And then from there, you should be hanging around about 50 milligrams. 50 milligrams of iodine is what you want. And so you don't ever want to just take 50 milligrams of iodine because our bodies have been deficient for a very long time. This is something
hmm
that you'd want to work up to, right? David Brownstein is the medical doctor from Michigan who I would recommend um, looking into when it comes to iodine. He has helped thousands of people with thyroid conditions and with metabolic conditions like cancer and things of that nature. Gut healing protocols. Um, Iodine's great for restoring gut health. Iodine, MSM, and vitamin C um, is a great way to get rid of um, the pathogenic microbiome that's working against us, that just sits and ferments, and you can see it everywhere. Anytime you see somebody with a bloated belly,
hmm
typically that's a fermenting gut. And human guts are not supposed to be fermenting, right?
hmm
Yeah. So clean the gut, clean the gut, because that's where the majority of our immune system is. So, and
Um, oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, you go ahead because I was changing the subject a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was just going to say carnivore is a great way to establish a good stable gut.
Okay. Well,
Be,
actually, that was kind of, I have talked to a lot of people who are kind of dabbling into this and several people have told me, and what would your response be to this? Because I never know how to answer this question. But
Mhm.
like tell me that keto and carnivore is not sustainable. You can't you can't do that forever. You're, like they act like I'm crazy, all this stuff. What
Yeah.
would your response be to to say back to someone who says that?
Um, well, I would say it's not true. That's um, it is sustainable. I have a friend who's been doing it. He's on day 172 of, or not 172. He's on 772. There's plenty of cultures that live forever through a carnivore lifestyle, like the Inuits. Like they can't grow anything, and they eat whale meat all the time. Their prevalence of heart disease and matters are way drastically way down, right? Um, and then there's the fiber myth. Like we have to have fiber. Fiber is not an essential anything. It's not a nutrient. It's not required for our gut. It's going to be needed if you're consuming carbohydrates. But I believe that a lot of the inflammatory gut problems that we have is from fiber, from an inflamed gut anyway. And fiber scraping along the intestinal lining, the epithelial lining of our intestines, is going to be inflammatory.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's
Um,
something to think about. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. But keto and carnivore it just requires discipline in the beginning, right?
Yes.
And look, a friend of mine told me um, this year: pain is inevitable. We have the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. We get to choose, right? And anytime we're inundated here in the culture that we're in with vegetables and fruits, and we got to have this and we got to have that, and it's been going on since longer than I've been alive, and I'm 50 years old, right? Um, the FDA and big pharma started their research into statins and creating the standard American diet in the late 60s, early 70s. And that was under the commissioner, John McKinnon, who came from the Kellogg's Corporation. Pretty fascinating, right?
It's
Uh,
always something like that.
Yeah, follow
yes.
the money.
Follow the money. That's right. I mean, that will, unfortunately, that is the way of the world, right?
I have one more
Um,
question.
yes.
On this subject.
Hey, Bradley, she's never talked so much in a podcast. Ever. She's usually just sitting silent.
Yeah.
Just as I think about all these things, these are things that we talk about to our friends all the time,
Yes.
and it's so interesting because it's sometimes I don't have an answer for that. I'm like, well, I know you can do it. Just,
Yeah.
just, just know that you can.
It's like quit
And have
listening
more
to
faith
what.
in yourself.
Yes, right.
Okay, which question?
Okay, so for the carnivore diet,
Yes.
um, that's animal products. What about pork?
Bark.
Pork.
Oh, pork.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about bark? Pork is an animal product. So look, the best, if I was walking with somebody who had which I do walk with people who have chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, all this stuff. The closest we can get to what I call the tip of the spear, the better. And when it comes to carnivore, the tip of the spear is fatty red meat, water, and salt. Um, okay? Because red meat provides 100% bioavailable nutrients, and it has everything in it that your body needs.
Really?
Yes. And it's non-inflammatory, especially if you're eating grass-fed, grass-finished, regenerative farm meat. That's going to be cattle or whatever ruminant animal you're consuming, raised in its natural habitat, feeding compassionately, right, on what it should be feeding on. Now imagine that animal living a restful life, not a stress life in a cage pumped full of hormones and antibiotics and all these other factors
Mhm.
that we then consume, right?
Right.
So thinking about now we can talk about the climate, right? Like you want a climate revolution. that's how it gets done. It really is stewarding what we're called to have dominion over anyway as believers, right? Taking care of the land, stewarding it well. Well, same with the animals, stewarding them well, raising in them in their natural habitat. Um, and so pork is fine. The cleaner the meat, the better, right? Because these animals are consuming off the land, and you know, um, but ultimately the tip of the spear is red meat. So I eat primarily 70% beef. I eat bacon on the weekends, um, and I eat a lot of eggs.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it, and maybe 5% dairy. But
Do you
and
eat fish? Do you incorporate
yeah,
fish in your diet? Okay.
I can eat fish, but I don't normally cook it for myself. If I'm out to eat, I do love going out and having a good meal. Like this, our favorite seafood place here in town is called Fish Bites. Shout out to Fish Bites. Um, and they have this amazing ponzu tuna. It's tuna that's wrapped in bacon and it's cooked about rare. That's how I get it. And then, oh, it's just so good. So I do love fish, but my main diet is primarily ruminant meat. Yeah.
Okay.
What does I've never heard the word ruminant.
Okay. Ruminant meat is animals that have um, a multiple chamber stomach. So they're eating grasses and they're chewing the cud and then they spit it up and then they digest it again. It's like a cow, right? That animal is getting its protein, its fats, and all that from grass. We can't do that as humans, right? So how does it do
Gotta
that?
do
It's
the
getting its
meat.
proteins from the microbiome that's produced inside of it. As that microbiome dies off, they digest that microbiome for protein, and then all the fatty acids that also are created through the rumination process. So it's like we have a one chamber stomach. A cow, I believe, has a four chamber gut, right? A gorilla. I mean, look at what a gorilla eats. A gorilla eats vegetables, and look at what a gorilla looks like. We see humans that look like that, right? Um, a lion. A lion eats pretty much ruminant meat, and look how fit a lion is, and that's all it eats, right? And humans are omnivores, right? So we can eat plants, we can eat fruits, we can eat um, meat, but the word omnivore merely means plant able. That doesn't necessarily mean how that we should be. It's not the best thing for us, but in a famine, it definitely can come in handy to be able to eat vegetables and fruits to survive and be able to process them. So
So, what would you say to specifically a woman in perimenopause that I get told every which way, every direction I can look, that
yeah,
for my hormone function, I need to
yeah.
eat some carbs? What would you say to that? Have you
Um,
encountered this yet?
yeah, so here's what I would say. I would say number one, your body has two pathways within it that it can make sugar. So it has the ability to produce carbs. Your body does not have the ability to create essential proteins or essential fats. Your hormones are made of fats and proteins and cholesterol, right? Cholesterol is the main source. Where does cholesterol come from? Cholesterol comes from saturated fats, from meats, right? From animal products. So if you're restricting animal products, and if you're just eat eating like flax and all this other stuff, blah blah blah, the building blocks for them, you're putting even more stress on your body to have to be able to make these things piece by piece. Whereas if you eat ruminant meat, you're getting the bioavailable form and you're consuming the cholesterol needed, right? And the building blocks for it. So you can actually have hormone balancing just by eating red meat or carnivore anyway. That's
I'm
what I
gonna
would
try
say.
it. You talked me into it. This whole I have 3.5 weeks till my doctor's appointment. I'm gonna try it. I want to drop those 6 points on my glucose. So
Oh, you'll drop even more. Yeah,
really,
and you'll see so many other gains. You'll gain. I don't know your situation, but if you're perimenopausal or whatever, I would gather maybe some fatigue, some brain fog every now and then. You may not be sleeping very well. Maybe your sleep is interrupted. If you were to go carnivore, and I'll give you resources too, like people to listen to. I don't want you to believe what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
important for you to seek the knowledge and understanding for yourself so that
yes.
let the Lord reveal it to you, right? Um, you'll see massive shift pretty quickly, especially if you've been making wise decisions about your health already. You'll see a pretty fascinating shift in things for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I'm not super fit. I kind of run the balance of being a little couple pounds overweight, couple pounds in the normal range, that
Hmm.
kind of thing. But I'm very concerned about it. It's constantly on my mind all day, every day. I'm making conscious decisions for my
Yeah.
80-year-old self.
Oh,
I'm
that's good.
55.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make decisions for my 80-year-old self.
Yeah.
I want to still hang out with my kids in a healthy way when I'm 80 and 90,
There you
if
go.
if God allows me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he will allow you. Um, he's not going to do anything to harm or take anything away from you. What I would say is it's good to have that frame, but also think about the day. Don't forget about the day and getting control over metabolic inflammation in the day-to-day decisions with what we're allowing to come into our temple. That's the true, I think that's where the true um, conviction can come with this in silencing out all the voices around because we're bombarded with it everywhere, right?
yeah.
And believe me, like if I can walk with people who have been taking medications for 30 years and in less than 2 months their doctor is taking them off of these meds,
Awesome. Awesome.
you
Oh,
you
that
you
makes me
being
feel good.
you were probably healthier than 70, 80, even 90% of the population. And just because you're not moving as effectively as you think you need to, you probably don't need to, like, honestly. um it really comes down to more of a food is necessary. We can't live
Mhm.
without it, and if our bodies aren't provided the right resources, we can't expect a return on that, right? It's like just picture Solomon's temple, how magnificently beautiful and just majestic it is on the inside. And he says that we are even greater, right? We actually host his presence. So um and every cell of your body is a living stone, just like every stone that built Solomon's temple. That's a representation of each cell of our body, and to provide the right nutrients for those cells, that's honoring the Lord, right? That's wow. And we know what he does when we honor him, and you could expect that return.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
it. I love this conversation. Um, we have about 15 minutes left, and you're doing a great job. So we don't have to finish our questions. You can continue on if you'd like with the sheepskate. I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by that. I've never considered that.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what's right outside the Sheep's Gate?
What?
The Pool of Bethesda.
Love it.
Yes, John 5. So we all know that the paralytic laid by the pool for 38 years, right? And the significance of the pool of Bethesda is that everybody waited around there for an angel of the Lord to come down and stir the water. And the first
Mhm.
person in the water would be healed or
Mhm.
delivered for whatever they were dealing with. Um, well, around the pool, there's 5 porticos, 5 porches that overlook it. 5 porticos for 5 senses of man: vision, hearing, taste, touch, and what's the other? Can't think of it.
Feel.
Feel. Yeah, feeling. Yeah, there you go. Good one. Um, and so Jesus came. So that's like they would sit on the porches, right? And they're watching for the stirring of the water. And then the first person in to be healed. Well, the paralytic, think about that. He laid by the pool for 38 years. And then Jesus comes up to him and asks him if he wants to be healed.
He
Like,
did.
isn't that fascinating? Like, do you want to be healed? Like, is that a question in this man, right? And he says yes, and Jesus heals him, and then he gives a command, right? And so that command is to rise and walk, right? Go and tell no one, but he goes and tells everybody.
Right.
So
I almost wondered
I
if
love
Jesus knew that was
I
part of the
love it
plan.
when Jesus says, "Don't tell."
I
Say,
know, right?
Go tell.
Tell. Yes. And so, but that also is a great representation of just the healing I believe that we have available to us now, right, as believers,
Yeah.
and also recognizing the authority that we have been given as believers. Like the whole reason why this even all this stuff even goes on is because Adam and Eve handed over the keys, right? Um, but Jesus went and got the keys back. So now the more that we could just recognize that we are fully restored, even beyond that, because Adam and Eve didn't get to have the Lord seated on the throne of their hearts, or the Holy Spirit, the living waters flowing through us. And think about your blood. The water inside of you is like the living waters flowing through you. Like there's just so much. It's it's almost impossible to comprehend, but yet the word says that we can comprehend. So there you go. Um, but yeah, so there's um, all of that. Yeah. Nehemiah's wall. Isn't that's revolutionary, I believe, for today. And going back to Daniel and recognizing the times that he was in, um, and how today, with the plague that's been released on this world, the last 5 years, carnivore got its momentum in 2020, the same year that um, the COVID or whatever, I don't even like calling it COVID. It's just a plague, right?
Yeah, epidemic.
That came and was released. So not only that, but when you think of the injections, the mRNA technology, which is it's a man-made thing, right? So this isn't something that is naturally occurring in nature. And the injections use the same spike protein, and yet the three things that work the best to heal from that um, is nattokinase, curcumin, and bromelain. It actually disintegrates the spike protein that's floating around in your blood and keeps the spike protein from binding to the ACE2 receptor that it binds to. So,
I was just reading about bromelain.
what's
What?
that?
What was it? Was called bromelain.
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 Bromelain
I just
is,
was reading about that the other day, but I didn't get too far into it.
yes. And if you've heard of a gentleman by the name of Peter McCullough,
Yeah, I've heard of him.
yeah, it's his protocol. It's the McCullough protocol. And if you want to look at that, you can go to the McCullough Foundation. That's his foundation website. And he actually has that protocol on there, and you can see the actual biochemistry of it all right there. But it's great because the injections, there's been through research, they've seen that if you've received the injections, your body can be producing spike protein for up to 3 years now after. So it truly does change. It truly does get into our genetic makeup, and it is produced by our body. And the havoc that's being wreaked on individuals today is because their immune system still sees that as a foreign protein, even though it's being implanted basically on cell membranes. So that's a classic definition of an autoimmune, right? So
I have, you've given me a lot of questions to look up. Um,
good.
I know, it's great. I I am with you, and even though I don't have as much of a scientific understanding as you do, I think that in the last 5 years, for myself, it's been proven that there are things that I can do that are more aligned with the gifts of God in a
Yes.
natural way of doing things than any kind of medication that I could take or therapeutic treatments that involve
Yes.
chemicals or what have you, you know? Um,
Absolutely.
Well, and just allowing God to be our physician. We don't even think that way anymore. Like, I had an argument with someone the other day about, well, it's not possible to not be on something. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not alone in this. Yes,
No.
it is.
Yes. Yeah.
And
See
it's
that
just like,
that's
that's to
it's
have that mindset that you have to be on something. Like, what about the creator? Like, he can heal you.
yeah. Not only that, but before he even created man, he provided everything man would need.
yes,
And
he did.
so and that's why a natural approach matters. You do have to be careful though, because you can get caught up in even in functional medicine with supplement becomes just
Yeah.
like a pill, right? And so recognizing that pharmakia is rampant in our culture, and not specifically referring to like the medicine and all that. Pharmakia has a much more broader umbrella than just drugs and surgery and all that stuff. But and that's the battle that we're in, because that's the ruling principality that governs over us. Our nation, that's how it makes money, right? Our government our government is set up to make money off of sickness. And
Yeah.
so the one thing, it's unfortunate. Even with this information we learned within the last couple of weeks about Tylenol. Did you hear about all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Startling.
Tylenol, yes, Tylenol is part of the problem, but the solution that our government provided was to go get an injection of a drug that is basically the same as methylfolate.